You're listening to the Nature's Image Farm podcast. I'm your host, Greg Burns, and we're talking bees, homesteading, and the old-time ways. This episode is brought to you by EnduraHive wax-dipped equipment. No paint, no rot, no hassle. EnduraHive. Built to endure. Now, on to the show. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another STREAMTEAM Beekeeping Chat. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Bruce, Brian, great to see you. And as always, I can always use all the help that I can get. So we've got the one and only Burns boss lady herself. Susan is here tonight. To hopefully not tell on me so much or throw me under the bus too much. But beekeeping as a couple isn't for everybody. And a lot of folks have been very honest about that. It is tough. I wouldn't have it any other way. So it'll be fun tonight as we entertain your questions, to also bring in the perspective from the boss lady herself. Did I say that out loud?
Oh my!
It's gonna be fun. I'm already shooting myself in the foot here, aren't I?
He's already trying. He's already trying to show off.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
Here, we got to pull in show enough.
We got to show enough. We got to hide. Well, I thought I would put on a clean shirt and try and Susan maybe put a clean hat on for all this. She keeps me tuned up and straightened up out here. Look at that. Look at Brian's the dog. That's great. It's summertime beekeeping, and a lot of us are in the thick of it. Bruce is a little bit past the honey slinging part of it, but still has a bunch of work to do. Brian and I are anticipating the honey that's on the hives. We're in the thick of finishing up splits, and we're nearing towards Independence Day this week, and it just there's a lot of things to be thankful for. We get to enjoy a lot of freedoms in this country, personally, religiously, as business owners. How we raise our family, how we educate our family, and I think it's appropriate this week for everyone to take pause and to remember that freedom isn't free. It is on the shoulders of the sacrifices of so many. But what a beautiful country to live in. Brian, you could say it's the best. Everyone says it's the best. It's the best country to live in. It's the greatest ever.
All other countries are losers.
There are a couple great other countries. Well, unfortunately, some of them are tied up into the back and forth thing here. But we got a lot of great Canadian beekeepers that are friends of all of ours as well too. But other than that, we'll have to just see how it goes. But hey, tonight we want to entertain your summertime beekeeping questions. So if you would leave your questions in all caps. That'll help us trigger to be able to organize those and actually go through those questions. Now, I know the big burning questions like how many times does Susan try to put a pillow over your face while you sleep? How often do you snore? Do you hog all the sheets? All those things, the answer is never, none of that. I don't snore. I don't hog the sheets. And she would never think about something like that. But any of your other important questions, between the four of us, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight talking about those things. Before we get wound up on that, let's go around the horn here and get caught up on this last week, the end of June beekeeping for everybody. Bruce, let's start down with you in Dothan, Alabama. What's been going on in your neck of the woods this week?
It's been busy.
Wow, did you see what he's got tricks now? Do you see that? That sounds good, Bruce.
Anyway, yeah, so it's just always, just slow down. That's not something I'm able to do. And I haven't even been back in my bees since we pulled honey. We've just been trying to get everything, kind of follow up after the harvest and get everything in order, which we're not even there yet. I haven't put stored my honey supers. And did I send you guys a text or send you a picture of what was going on a couple of days ago in the in the 5-gallon bucket storage room.
Oh, Brian, can you pull that up?
Oh,
if you can, that'll be fun. If not,
we can cheat. We can just cheat and do it this way, probably too.
So, actually, let me pull it up. Hold on. Let me just do it on my phone. That way, I can show you guys a little better. So, this is what I got a little cocky. For the last several years, I've stacked my 5-gallon buckets, 5 buckets high in the storage room. I've never had a problem. I think I had a couple of buckets that maybe cracked, old brittle buckets, old 70 mil buckets that cracked. But the last few years, I've used 90 mil buckets. I order them from epackagesupply.com. And okay, let me explain first. So anyway, well,
Bruce, that looks like a bucket in a bucket.
Yeah, let me explain the story first. Turn around.
But
let me explain what happened.
Brian, it was supposed to be like a beautiful build-up and an anticipation.
No, I just want to kind of explain. So
that was Chat GPT.
Unbelievable. Bruce is trying to do a sweet job here, and we.
Hey, hush.
Brian, dial. No, I'm just kidding. When we pulled the buckets, I had a lot of buckets. I ordered some extra buckets, but I didn't order enough. And I normally 90 mil buckets. Some people say you don't need them, and you don't unless you're trying to stack them really high, I guess. And the issue this time was the lid. We ran out of all my 90 mil buckets, all my thick, nice, I guess, are 90 mil lids, whatever come with those buckets from ePackage Supply. And then I had to go dig in. I was trying to cycle out all my 70 mil buckets, but I'm glad I took them with me because we had to use them. Used basically every bucket I had for the most part, and we barely had enough. We ended up filling, I think, 161 total buckets with our honey extraction.
Wow!
So we ran out of lids, and the guy I've harvested with, he had a few lids that I used, and they were real thin. They weren't. They're not designed to stack buckets on. Obviously, they have a real thin rim around them. Let's see if I can show you here. Well, I actually found one of each. So anyway, okay. So this is one of the thin rimmed ones. You see that? It's kind of a flimsy material. It's not very thick. You see the rim right here is not very thick at all or very wide. It is a sealable one. I haven't washed all the honey off this yet. We've been bottling it up, but it's also got the ring in here, the gasket. And the thing I like about my lids, whenever I harvest my honey or whenever I put it in buckets, I like to have the tear strip on it. First of all, it seals it better. If you stack them, they stack better, and then you can just sell the bucket that way. And you can ship it and everything. So I try to get them with the tear strips on it. And these buckets did have that. This, I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that Rusty had or not, but it's got the thinner rim right here. So thin rims, flimsy material, not suitable for stacking. They're good for the top, but they're not good to stack on. This is one of the heavy duty ones right here. You'll see. Well, let me just compare them. Look at the difference in the rim sizes. See the difference in them?
Oh, yeah.
Heavy duty right here is way thicker. Heavy duty, very tough, durable. You can just tell by feeling how tough and durable it is. It's the same material. It must be 90 mil because it's just like the bucket, super tough and rugged. And so, anyway, I didn't have a choice. We ended up, I just ran out of lids. And so I used some of his. He let me use some of his lids. Well, when we started unloading them that evening, my son-in-law and I each took a truckload of buckets up to brought them home. And then the next day we unloaded them at the honey where I store my honey. And we got about 2 stacks in. And I told him, I said, we need to be looking for those thin lids and make sure they go on the top. And I was up in the truck, kind of handing them to him, and he was taking them into the honey room. He had the harder job. He's young. He can carry 2 at a time like this. He's a big old strong guy. So I started setting those aside, and I thought we had all taken care of. And I'm not sure if we looked at the stacks or not after I started doing that. But anyway, we didn't. We thought we had them taken care of. Well, so as you can imagine, the very back of that room, we had I think 4 or 5 rows, 5 rows of buckets across, 4 or 5 rows of buckets across. And then we started really paying attention, and we didn't put any more down below. But lo and behold, the bottom bucket on the left-hand side, Brian, you can throw that picture up now, happened to have one of those skinny lids on it. And my mom, Monday, my mom sent me a picture And the bees that were gathering around the honey storage room, and I'm like, she's like, that doesn't look right. So then she opened the door and looked in there, and there was honey, of course, all around the buckets in the front of the building. But we know the bucket, as we found out, the bucket that was messed up was in the back of the building. And so one of those 5-gallon buckets, it had just basically what happened is the rim of the lid gave in. It didn't punch through the lid just gave way, and it slipped down in the bucket. The bucket above it had 4 buckets on top of that, which is 240 pounds, give or take. It just couldn't handle that. So there I am showing a narrow, skinny one against, versus a thick one right there that was on the top. That's what they look like differently. But I want to show you what my mom sent me. Anyway, the reason I'm kind of embarrassed about it a little bit because I've been telling people, oh, I've stacked them like this for years, never had a problem. And then like 2 days later, here's a picture right here. If you can see it, of the honey dripping. And this is in the front of the storage area there. The honey was like creeping up through. And then, so I'm just trying to swallow my pride here a little bit. After we pulled the honey out, this is what it looked like right here.
Oh my.
Oh, so, man. All the buckets were sitting out in the, and I'm going to do a video on it just for fun. But when we actually pulled the buckets apart, kind of show you here what I'm talking about and see if I can get to it. You'll see right here the lid that had just pushed down into the bucket. I'm trying to pull it out there.
Oh my gosh.
There it is right there, how it just punched down into the bucket. So it didn't break the lid. They came loose. Like that rim was not strong enough. It wasn't held on there strong enough. And it just peeled it down in. And then here's just a picture of it right here with me holding it up to the camera so you can see it better. There it is. There's the bottom of it right there. And then here's the top of it. You really can't see in the camera very well, but you can tell how it just kind of flattened it and pushed it through. So the moral of the story is I have stacked buckets once again. And for those who are critical of me doing it, I've done it for probably 4 or 5 years. I've stacked them 5 high in that room with no issues at all from the lid perspective. But I've always had, even the lids you get at Lowe's that are stiffer they're not the best, but they're okay. The 70, I think it's important to have 90 ml buckets with the tough lids. If you do that, you can stack them up. Some people use boards between them. I think that's probably wise to do that. I've never done that, but
equalize the weight.
Use boards right on top of it. It'll help equalize the weight. That's a wise thing. I have people tell me all the time, you should put boards in there. I'm like, no, it's worked okay. I've never had an issue.
It's always fine till it's not.
I still don't think I'll have an issue unless I just do what I did this time and don't catch the skinny, narrow lids. I'm grateful I had them because I'm not sure. I guess we could have come up with some old lids somewhere that had already been used. But and I did. As we went through and we removed all the buckets out of the barn the other day, get to that bucket and figure out what was wrong. We actually, I tried to identify any that looked like they were weak like that, and I just brought them home. I'm actually going to bottle those up first. If they, I'm gonna make sure if we have any up there still, they're on the top of the stack. And so we're going to be real careful when we put them back in. But I did have, it seems like 2 or 3 years ago, like I said, I had some old brittle buckets. I think they were the old 70 mil buckets, like from Lowe's or Home Depot, that had a little crack in it, but none of them had leaked like that. They just had a little bit of leakage when we pulled them out. They didn't leak. It was like a tiny crack, and it kind of captured it in the lid of the bucket below. It never really leaked over and made a huge mess like that before. But it was all because I didn't do what I planned on doing. I just missed one of them, and we got in trouble there. So just a word to the wise, I will do a video on it, but word to the wise, if you're going to stack them up, make sure you got good, tough buckets. Somebody in the comments somewhere said, oh, you don't need 90 mil buckets. Just go to Lowe's and get whatever they have there. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's fine until it's not. I haven't had any of the buckets really. The 70 mil buckets haven't been a huge issue. It's been more, I think the lids are so critical. Anyway, just not to beat a dead horse, but that's what happened. So Monday night, that's what we did. I've got to go back up there the next few days and get the buckets all put back in there. I still have to get my honey super stored. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to go put mite treatments on everything. That's my goal. I've got to get mite treatments. The bee inspector went out last Monday for me. The local bee inspector, he's just a great guy. He went out and he went to all my yards and took mite samples for me, so I didn't have to do that. And overall, there were mites in them, but I didn't have an infestation like I did last year. Some of them were a little bit higher than I want, but didn't have any super, super high ones that he checked that were like, there was one that was pretty high, but the rest of them that he took there were some, they definitely need to be treated, but they're not like, 40s and 50s like some of them were last year. Most of them are, in the single digits or double digits as far as, like 16s and things like that. Most of them aren't real high, but most of them are actually in the single digits. I think most of them are pretty good, but I'm going to go get them treated. And that's what I'm doing now. Still trying to get the honey harvest videos, longer form videos done. I've got one that I'm going to try and get out maybe tomorrow. And so that's where we're at. What did John say? I didn't see it. Something about my buckets.
Must be nice to have so much honey you can pour it all over the floor.
Now, trust me, John, it wasn't intentional. We did salvage a third of that bucket. It's actually in the bottling tank right now. I may have actually already bottled it up because I had some orders last night. I bottled up. So yeah, I got you, John, man. It was, trust me, I would have rather not had that happen.
You probably
check this out from Tom and Melissa. Anyone in the crowd ever spill a 5-gallon bucket inside of a Ford Explorer? Asking Melissa about it. Thankfully, I have a friend who owns a detail shop that we work for.
Listen, wow. I imagine we have all kinds of 5-gallon bucket honey spill stories and just honey spill stories in general all through this chat here because it's definitely a sticky, nasty mess. And that room actually has carpet in it, but it's a real thin, like industrial type carpet. So it's not that big a deal. I can probably just take a water hose to it and squeegee it out if I need to. So that's.
What I like is when you put that bucket under the extractor, and you've got it full, and then you've got a mesh strainer or something on top, and then in your mind you've already freshened up the bucket and have the strainer on top, and you run another round of frames through there, and you open it up, and it's just overflowing an entire 5-gallon bucket of honey just all over the floor, and you're thinking, what in the world? And it takes you just long enough to figure it out. And you got this dance where you got to close up the extractor, and then all that's all over the floor, and then it's like this shameful.
Do you put another bucket back underneath?
Do you put another bucket? Do you
or?
Dump one bucket out real quick? How do you move it around? And then you just get the shameful trail of tears of honey and sticky all over the place. And you tell yourself that's fine, just don't step in it. And somebody says something, you look over, and then you take that and you walk right through it. And you're just like,
it's like a banana peel. You just slip it, you fall down in it, and then it's really fun. You have a honey bath all over. And no, I'm just kidding. We actually, I'll tell you this. I did a short YouTube short on this. I was given a bucket alarm from JL Apiaries at the expo, and it's just perfect. I didn't think we were going to need it the way we bottle our honey up, but every year it seems like we overflow 1 or 2 buckets. But with that thing, we were able to bottle up. We didn't not overflow a single bucket out of the actual bucket filling tank that we have. So easy to get distracted. You're moving buckets around. We have someone managing that, but you just kind of get involved with helping other people out, moving buckets around, getting everything situated, that those buckets can just fill up so fast that you get in trouble. So we were fortunate this time that we didn't do that. However, when my buddy Rusty, we did his this past weekend, we didn't overflow any of the actual final bucket filling station buckets, but we did overflow one on the wax spinner. We looked over there and it's just like flowing out of the bucket all over the floor. Wax spinners, we're all just minding our own business. I look over there and that bucket's just flooding over the top. So we might need to get a couple more of those little bucket alarms to be able to catch everything and make sure we don't overflow. Because that is a total mess, as you know, as you described, Greg. It is no fun when a bucket overflows. It kind of just throws a wrench in everything. And we're not quite to the drum stage yet. If you got drums, you got big pumps and everything that pump it into a great big huge container, and then you just float into your drums whenever you want to. But we're still at the bucket stage. A lot of buckets, but we're just not set up for drums yet. So I know the commercial guys, the large sideliners that put it in drums, they kind of chuckle at me, and they think I'm kind of silly to do 160 or 170 buckets. But for us, it just works better because we have to move them from place to place. I have to move them from the honey house to storage, and then from storage, like I bring about 10 or 15 at a time here to my house. You can see them kind of here in the background right behind me. Some of them are stacked up right there, and I just put them in my beautiful Maxim bottling tank right here, and then we bottle up my jars, my bottles of honey.
What number, like as far as buckets, like where's that upper limit where you're going to say, okay, we need to jump over and start messing with barrels.
I don't, as long as I'm doing it with Rusty, it's going to be hard to do that because he's just not set up with his situation for that. He doesn't really want to do that. He doesn't want to do as much as I do. So I'm not sure. I guess we could theoretically put a bucket outside and then or a drum and then just pour the buckets into it. Or we could set a drum up kind of by the back door and pour buckets into it and seal it. You know what I mean? But as far as having a pump with the pump system and pipes and all that, he just doesn't want to do that. I think the next step for me, if I get a lot bigger, is going to be just to figure out something to do, like a more automated system. But that's a lot of money. And as long as I can talk people into come down and helping me.
Tom Sawyer's got plenty of help there. Well, I hear, when I heard the bucket scenario was going on, I just thought it was Bracken. Let's just blame Bracken on that. What a great blessing it was for you to have Bracken and all those guys down there.
Bracken, Jake, Blade, and then Lee and his wife Tana. Lee and his wife Tana came down from Tennessee, and then Gigi, Amy came over from Mississippi. Just what a cool lady. I mean, just such the beekeeping community is incredible. And Ian on here saying you're better off with buckets or pails than you are with drums unless you go wholesale. I agree with that in my case, especially Ian. I mean, it's just I'm moving around so much, and I don't have all the big equipment. I guess we could figure it out, but if I had a honey house in one spot, all my bee operation was in one spot, and I could just put it in drums, and then just do kind of like a Bob Benny thing where you can do it from the drums to the bucket or to the bottler to whatever is possible, or if I had all the stuff to be able to move it all. But just the fact that I bottled it here at my house here in town, I just can't carry a drum into my honey room here. You can tell by looking at it behind me, it's not a very big room. It's just not feasible for me. And so, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for now, it's just a lot of buckets, but it is a lot of work, physical work to move those buckets around. But once they're put in place, unless of course you have one that you do what I did with it, then they're there until you need them. And I can eat into the stack as I need them. I just make sure they're sealed real good and I can mail them. I can just pull it off the pile, slap a label on it and mail it. So it's just real convenient for me.
Well, the main thing is doing what works that meets the scale that you're at. If you think about what that looks like to scale up, I mean, even if you went from, you already have a nice upgrade on your uncapping, but by the time you run them and extract them and they're going into buckets, one thing you could go into a nice size clarifier that then went to a pump, and then the pump could go to drums or a drum or a gravity tank to then fill buckets. But at some point, you're going to have a large volume of honey in something that if you're not moving it or pumping it into something, it can crystallize at some point. And then you've got a barrel of crystallized honey you've got to do something with. Then it's like, okay, I need this piece of equipment now to do that. I need this piece of equipment to move the drum and to get it into here and to get it into that and to do this. At some point, it makes, the economy of scale as well. Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. Buckets is, I think, great for you while you're moving things around logistically. If everything was all in one place, and you could keep it gently warm, then you could maybe go into a larger vessel. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, we've grown. We are just with the system we have. As long as we have a good crew, we can really crank out some honey. We did, like I say, it was over 9,500 pounds in one day in less than 12 hours. Because we did 161 buckets for me, and then I think we did 162 buckets for me, 152 buckets for me, and then 9 for Honey Hill Farm. So 161 buckets or something like that in less than 12 hours. We started about 8:45, 9 o'clock and got done before, like, I think around 7:30. I mean, that's a lot of honey to be put through our system. Just with the Cowan uncapper is huge difference. It's just an old 1970s style with the knives that oscillate back and forth, but that thing purrs like a kitten. Rusty put a new motor on it. It works phenomenal. And then we have those 232 frame extractors that just worked perfectly. And then we have the system, we had all these bottlenecks points that we've kind of eliminated a little bit. And we've got hop spiders in a big tank. We pour it in, it filters it out perfectly. So it's ready to bottle up, and it goes right in the buckets. We put the lid on, we're done. No more paint strainers. no more Simple Harmony Farms and cappers. Those were all good in their time, but now we've got it kind of automated or streamlined, and we do still need a good crew of 10 to 12 people really for it to run at max efficiency, more like 12 people to run at max efficiency, which is very difficult. That's very difficult to do. We couldn't do this with 4 people like you can with more automated systems. So, as long as I can get people to, as long as I can trick people into coming, or people still seem to enjoy coming, we can keep doing this. But if people kind of wise up to it a little bit, then we're going to have a hard time doing that much. But it's a blast. We had a good time with it. But anyway, enough about me. Brian, what's going on up there?
You pulled 9,500 pounds. I'm probably going to pull 9,500 grams.
Nah, that's not true. I'm sure that's not true.
Brian, are things turning around in Northeast Ohio for you?
There is a little bit of a flow. The last time I went over and checked, I actually had a couple colonies that were starting to backfill in the brood area because, and it's those garbage packages. I keep saying I need to talk to my dealer because, they're working too fast and they're not slowing down for the pace that I give my bees, So I went over and they were starting to backfill. I found a couple with cells and I'm like, you little rascals. So they are packing in some. I will get some honey. I don't know how much. I'll check this weekend. I've already said this weekend I'm going to go over. I kind of look out, and I always judge, like when I harvest, I'll look out at the clover. And when I start to see the first little bits of that clover starts to brown up a little bit, I'll know that, okay, we're getting close. And like today I was out throwing the Frisbee with Eli after work, and I looked down, and in a patch that's probably half the size of my desk here, there was like 4 or 5 honeybees right in that little area on the clover. And I'm like, well, they're still working it pretty good, because if there's that many bees on the clover, they're working it. But I don't want to wait too long, just because you end up waiting and then the weather could go bad, and then they're going to end up annihilating the little bit of honey that I do have. So I'll pull this weekend. Any honey that I get, that's a plus. I mean, coming out of the winter, we all know what happened. I didn't have that many colonies. The yard is looking good, though. I mean, there's 19 colonies sitting over there now. So it's looking good. I mean, figure if I pull 150 or 200 pounds of honey, I mean, I had 3 colonies that came out of the winter. So
Brian, that's impossible. Package bees can't produce honey the first year. Are you sure you're not mistaken?
I know. And this is, well, maybe I gotta send a check to the guy that told me to say all this on or an invoice. I got to send an invoice down and say, hey, I was saying everything. Let me check the script, because I was supposed to follow the script.
Well, the Jeff Burke is off the same script there. He says his Nature's Image package went nuclear, had to add a second brood box, and now his super is all drawn out and filling up.
Yeah.
I'm a first-year beekeeper, and I'm like a proud papa. Jeff, good to see you in here.
So I got to get with Jeff, because I was supposed to say on here the package went nuclear, but I skipped that part. So I probably just lost some of
Can you get the checkbook out? We need to make sure we write him the check that,
So, but no, they're doing good. And I'm going to end up doing the same thing that Bruce is doing. As soon as I get the honey off, I'm going to start my OAV, and I'll do every 5 days, probably, throughout the entire month of July. Do some counts. That way I can see where I'm at, and just, get the bees into the fall. If I've got to feed some, I'll just kind of see how they're doing, what our flow looks like up here. We usually, like, after I get my first harvest in, we usually have a trickle of a flow, and it's enough that, like, I don't have to throw buckets in that on. This year, I don't think I will have to put buckets on and feed them now. We've had so much rain that, like, in the month of May up here, we were twice what our normal average was. And then I just saw on the news the other day, they said that June was the 6th wettest June in history since they started checking up here. So we've had the precipitation, so I don't think that we're going to end up in a situation like last year with the dearth. So I think we'll still have a little trickle, but I'll just keep an eye. I need to start getting my bee bites on them just to get that supplement into them. It's just going to be supplement them. The colonies where I was watching them, where they were requeening, I'm just going to monitor those. But July, I don't think it'll be that bad up here, just because I'll wrap up that honey and I can move on to the next tasks that will get me into the fall, and then hopefully get healthy colonies to come out of next winter.
Nice.
So, it's looking good though. Yeah, looking good. And I had a couple colonies that were sitting on those wonderful Nature's Image wax dipped boxes, and they're all on stands now.
Nice.
So the colonies that I had on boxes, they're all on stands. I do have to go over though and lay new fabric down. I want to put new fabric, and we spoke about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to put an upgraded fabric under everything. So it's looking good though. Looking good.
Nice.
Greg, how about you?
Oh man, well, there's a lot going on. Before we jump into that, I just want to again thank everybody for joining us tonight. If you've got questions, leave them in all caps, and then we will categorize those tonight. Tonight's topic: summertime beekeeping, and / in parentheses. Hopefully, Susie doesn't throw Greg under the bus too hard tonight. But it's a lot of fun beekeeping as a couple. It's a lot of fun sharing our experiences with Bruce and Brian and all the crew here on the Stream Team. So we appreciate everyone joining tonight. I forgot to mention from the very beginning, we have quite a few giveaways tonight. I was just so impressed with the beauty on the screen here. I just totally forgot about that. But we've got a bunch.
Thank you, Greg.
That
Bruce.
was sweet of
I don't
you
know
to
how
say
you do it,
about Bruce and
Bruce.
Brian.
But if you've got it, flaunt it, Bruce. Okay.
All shucks.
So we got a lot of great giveaways tonight. We'll go ahead and get to one here in a little bit. I do want to thank again all the folks for tuning in. There's a lot of great beekeepers on here, even from Canada tonight. I want to thank Ian for jumping on here. I was going back and forth this week with Ian with a couple questions. So Ian, I appreciate your wisdom and taking time out of your busy day to respond to those questions. So again, thanks. And then we've got another Canadian beekeeper hailing from the island of Newfoundland or Newfoundland. If you're a Canadian, how do you say Newfoundland? Is it Newfoundland or Newfoundland? Probably Newfoundland, like the dog.
I always thought it was Newfoundland,
I think it's Newfoundland. I think that's what it is.
Newfoundland. Miss B. Haven, she's there from Canada. So great having all you guys in here. Of course, all of our regulars in here. You guys are awesome. We have a bunch of our Ohio crew that I've seen cruising through here. We've seen John Lawler. I know Chris Morrow, Drop Tyne is in here. Jeff Burke. There was so many in here, so really appreciate that. And then there's a lot of great folks that we collaborate with on a regular basis. 21st B, Michael's on here, and he's gonna bring a big trailer this year. He's gonna be hauling back a new extractor, maybe a made in the USA Maxent extractor, and some Nature's Image Farm wax dip boxes and DuraHive. Makes a difference. So Michael, we appreciate you and your support. And I've been meaning to get with you on a couple things. It's just been absolutely nuts around here. So remind me to remind myself to get with Michael about those things that I forgot. She's making a note right now. She's making a note.
The boss lady is on here. So where Greg gets going on his short story longs.
Yeah, she will.
I have a pencil.
See,
hey, Susie, if there's a clean right dial right there, that's how we get Greg to dial it in. If he starts talking, in Boy Scouts, you'd hold up the scout symbol to make everybody quiet. Well, in our case, you hold up the clean right dial.
Though, because these things are very aerodynamic.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't have mine with me. Mine's out in the truck, but but Brian's got one, and you've got one. You've got access to one there, Susie, so you can dial them in if you need to.
Wow, I will keep this handy.
I better behave. That's the only thing I'm going to get for dinner tonight is that dial. Quick shout out to Tennessee Tim. He's working late in the bee yard tonight. Want to give a shout out to them or Tim. We got Tom and Melissa via Honeybees. Mr. Randy Southard, Tar Heel Beekeepers on tonight. Tommy Cakes Seeds. Greggy has stories. Tom, I've been meaning to get a hold of you. Tom has a great new product on his Etsy shop. These suet cakes for birds, built with all natural products. Really neat thing. Tom, if you're drop a link here in the comments. If you're looking for a really nice suet cake for your birds, you might want to check these great family. Susie received them there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm planning on. I think I'm going to feed them to our chickens too, because if I put them at our house, our bird dog might enjoy all of our bird viewing.
Well, and you should see our front porch. How many cats are on that thing now?
Yeah, between the cats and the bird dog, I don't know that birds will last if they come up to a bird feeder. So I will leave them here and enjoy birds here.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense there. I had the cute idea one year of getting Susie a hummingbird feeder. And then I realized everywhere that we would put that so we could see it, there was either a whole herd of cats or the bird dog. And that's all he wants to do. Like in the morning, when we get up and have our coffee, we got to crack the back door open so he can lay there and look out. Otherwise, he's just nonstop bugging you to get out, just to stand on the porch and just listen and look and hear all the birds and stuff. So anyways, if you're looking for suet cakes, check out Tommy Cakes. Good stuff. So giveaways. All right, Brian, I'm going to need your help. We've got some giveaways. Let's go ahead and start. We've got some cool ones. We have celebrate July 4th, Independence Day, with a red, white, and blue Endurahive wax dip cap. We got one of those we're giving away. We have some.
You going to model it?
Model it? I don't know. This probably.
Stars and turn stripes.
Sure, this doesn't depreciate. This doesn't depreciate the value of the hat.
Are you giving that one away?
Well, not this one.
Oh,
no one wants to wear my hat. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much up there to really defile it, as far as hair goes and such. But anyways,
no. Greg, that would have like your DNA on it. So
there you go.
They're starting to like bring stuff back. So I mean, like we could make like another Greg. There could be like two of you then.
She can't handle one of me. I can't hardly handle one of me, let alone two. But here, a great cap made in the USA. One thing you guys know that we're excited about here at Nature's Image Farm is made in the USA, like for real products that are actually made in the USA. And so Endurahive, built to endure. So we've got that. We've got this is pretty cool. We've got a nice Hive Alive hive tool. We got a couple of these. Hashtag Be the Lighthouse. I'm not sure if signing it depreciates it or not, but since it's free, you got what you paid for, I guess. So we got a couple of those to give away. And we have one of the most coveted items on the face of the earth right now. Are you ready for this?
No.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to even show this? Like, you really have to be a man's man to be comfortable with this.
Oh.
Or if you're a man's man and want to take care of that special lady in your life, she could also use this too. You ready for it? Come on now, look at that. An Endurahive wax dipped fanny pack. Well, the fanny pack's not wax dipped.
Is that wax dipped?
It is not wax dipped. All right, but it is good for carrying all of your personables.
Hey, it is fair season. It is take it to the races kind of season. So if you're going to be out and about, those fanny packs come in real handy.
But wait, there's more. We're going to make sure we stuff that full of a bunch of great fun stickers. And then also, we got one more thing we're going to give away tonight too. We got a whole case. Can you even see it? A whole case of Hive Alive super syrup.
Yay.
We're going to get that sent out too. So a lot of fun stuff we're going to be giving away tonight. So stay tuned. Brian's going to help me figure out how to do all those things there. Brian's already got it figured out. Let's go hard. Let's go ahead and just let it rip with one. You guys ready? Okay. Is everybody ready for a freebie?
Which one do you want first?
Let's do Hive Alive Tool 1. So it's like the first one. Because I'm not sure if it throws it off if we do that same hashtag again.
No. Well.
Hive Alive 1. Hive Alive Tool 1. Hive Alive Tool 1. Is that too much?
So
should we simplify that?
HAT1.
HAT hat 1. What's a hat?
Well, it's that right there. Hive Alive Tool
Hive
1.
Alive Tool.
Has Brian got it?
why don't we just
hey Brian,
tool?
How about Brian?
You can just put tool 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. This is my go-to hive tool now. I used to have favorites until this. It's hard to really show this off appropriately, but it is super, super thick. When you're cracking boxes and frames that you probably shouldn't with a regular hive tool, this one doesn't bend or break on you. It is super, super stout. I really like that, and I've really gotten the hang of using this hook the right way. So anyways, that's a lot of fun. So tool 1 in the hashtag, and we'll give away the first tool. And who knows what else we'll give away. We might give away something else. I don't know. But yeah, so go ahead and put that comment in, hashtag tool 1. And there's been a lot going on here. I don't even know where to begin, but Suze, where are we, you think, like right now? How does everything feel with the progress with the beekeeping aspect? It's one thing, the supply shop is it's like we're running 8 different businesses here. But as far as this was talking about the beekeeping side specifically right now, where do you feel like we're at right now with the beekeeping?
Oh, I mean, it just feels big. It feels like there's a lot of bees. Like everywhere I look, lots and lots of bees. And it's been so hot and humid. They're out on the front porch.
Yeah.
Been out on the front porch. It feels very big.
It feels big.
Very bigly.
Big, very bigly. The biggest. What I noticed this year is we were a lot smarter with when and how we made our nukes this year. And in doing so, it's some of these colonies are like dipping a cup into an unlimited river of bees. And when you pull from the right size colony, there is so much left behind that in short order, you've got another big, beautiful colony. And that's what's happened here is typically when I don't have enough of the bees, I end up splitting all my colonies out to where they're just scraggly little stinkers that don't do much. And it's just, you're working so hard to get them built up the rest of the year. This year, the way things build up, there was just a lot more bees. So as we're making the nukes, we can cherry pick this really nice frames. Brian, what's going on here, Brian? You got to tell us. You got to tell us now.
My head, it's a mystery how it works. You said big.
I heard that too.
Beautiful.
What did I say?
The big beautiful.
It's going to be big beautiful. It's a big beautiful hive.
The big
beautiful hive. Big beautiful bees.
Big, beautiful bills.
I thought the same thing, but I saw Brian laugh. I'm like, I know where his mind is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's great. Well, it's exciting because we've got a lot more bees to work with, and we're not running them so ragged this year. So right now, that's kind of what we're up to. Is I think there's maybe, she keeps saying stop it with the nukes, and people keep calling and they say they ask for nukes, and you keep telling them it's late.
Yeah. And we just need to move on to honey and the getting that off and, then readying the hives. So it's, you never want to deny somebody a hive, but
it feels good to keep things moving in the forward momentum direction.
Yeah.
To keep pulling nukes out keeps feeling like we're still stuck in the nuke phase of this. But being able to get past that, now you get down to making splits, or pulling honey, making splits, treating, building up, equalizing, and then readying for winter. And we're nearing the 4th of July this week. And for me, that's the mindset that I get into, is readying the colonies for winter on July 4th. So that means getting the honey off, getting them split down, getting them treated, or getting them treated and then split down, whatever your mechanism is. And then just start building up for next year. So right now, I've kind of just enjoying the mindset of, man, like everything is looking really good this year. So how can we best leverage the asset here for next year? How can we best use what is here for next year? So, was it last night before? Last night I'm out here and I like to, just to go out there and just drive the buggy out and just park in one of the yards and just,
joke was on you.
Joke was on me. Well, wait a minute. So you're going to throw, she's getting ready to throw me under the bus here. So I quickly, I was late with my devotional stuff. So I threw it in the side by side, and I went to drive out to the bee yards where I could just sit and I could do my reading, and I could do my, spend a little extra quiet time and prayer and thought and planning and all these things. Well, I go out there and I go out and drive and I get out to one of the yards out here, and the buggy stalls out, and I'm thinking, what in the world? And I look down, and somebody left me on empty. I mean, completely empty.
I parked it by the building, and that's where it should have stayed until it got filled. But that's too much work.
Someone went on a flower hunt. Someone drove down the road. If anyone's been here to the Nature's Image Farm, you've been past the Flint Ridge Gardens, and they do a great job of flowers and all those kind of things. And so somebody went on a flower shopping spree.
But she had them on sale.
You took the side by side.
Yeah.
And let's just say you left it on, as Jeff would say, excitable. And I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention, and it was on empty. Ultimately, it's my fault.
Hey, you got a workout in, so you can thank me.
I did. I had to walk all the way back
the ridge
to the barn and grab a 5-gallon of diesel and take it back out. But
got your cardio in.
But while I'm out there doing that, I'm looking at all the bees. I'm actually going out and trying to get a head count. How many full box splits can I easily pull off here and pull off there? And I'm going through, and it's just, sometimes I think when you're in those mindsets, I think God gives us little signs. And here I am, I'm thinking about abundance, and I'm thinking about growth and how to be responsible with what is here. How many splits can I make and actually make sure that they're going to be where I want for wintertime? And I'm just sitting there, and the Kubota dies. I'm just sitting there. So I got my little devotional reader, and I've got my Bible with me, and I'm just sitting out there, and it's just quiet. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I just was in the tree line part of the shade, and it was all I could hear was the bees humming and the birds chirping. So I went through and did my reading, and as I'm sitting there, I'm just as still and quiet as a mouse. As I'm sitting there, this bunny just jumps right out in front. She's awesome. Just staring at me.
That video was awesome.
Yeah, she's just staring at me, looking at me, and I'm just thinking, well, aren't you beautiful? And I'm just thinking, wow, rabbits, like one of the ultimate signs of abundance, this rabbit pops up right in front of me, and I just get to watch how beautiful she is. And she's just chewing on clover, and she's looking up at me and trying to figure out what I am. And she does this quick little pounce jump thing, and to try to see if she'll get a reaction out of me. And I'm just enjoying the moment, just pure in the moment. And then she kind of goes off to the side again. And I thought, oh man, that might make a fun little video, just watching this rabbit. The sounds are beautiful. It's a beautiful landscape. And as I go up and I pull the camera up on her, right, I'm through the camera, I'm seeing it. In the camera, I'm zoomed in. I see the second face show up. And now we got 2 bunnies in here, and it was rabbit kung fu. And I can say that I've never seen 2 bunnies like that. So go back and watch the video. Like, we've raised rabbits, and we know what we know what rabbits do. Okay. But to see rabbit kung fu out different in the bee yard, boy, that was neat. So go back and check out that video. Before I go on any more tangents, she's underneath here. She's giving me a tap, like, okay, move on. Bryant, let's go ahead and spin the wheel, or not spin the wheel. We used to spin the wheel. Let's do the drawing for the first hive tool. Miss Susie will write down the info. If you are the winner, I'll need you to make sure that you go to our website at nature'simagefarm.com, click on the About Us, and then send us a message through there that you're the winner, and we'll go ahead and get that reconciled with the winner is tonight. So the winner is, for the Hive Alive Hive Tool, signed Mr. Eric Kenyuk. Come on down. Is anybody, you guys are still old enough to know that reference, right? Susie, you know that reference?
Yeah.
The Price is Right.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. All right, Eric, congratulations. We will get you the Hive Alive Hive Tool out in the mail. So shoot us an email, go over to our website, nature'simagefarm.com, and go to the About Us, send us a message, and we'll get that sent off to you. So, all right. So let's take some questions here. One of the questions that I have for you guys is, we just came off the heels of a bunch of cold weather, rainy weather, and then it hit like upper 90s where the heat index is like up into 105. It was like probably regular Dothan, Alabama weather. But us northern sissies who deal with the snow, we don't deal with the heat. So we see things that Bruce sees all the time, but it's new to maybe newer or less repetitions of that. But let's go around the horn here because some folks are all over the country. Let's talk about how do you guys actually beat the heat? I know we talked about it a little bit before last week as far as ventilation goes, but let's talk about the beekeeper specifically. Are there things that you do as a beekeeper when you're out there battling the heat and still working through the colonies? What is something that you do to help make sure that you are taking care of yourself? Bruce, we'll start with you since you are the hottest beekeeper here. Wait, that didn't. That's. Anyways,
I gotta cut that
every week. Are you constantly hitting on Bruce or what?
I gotta clip that out of here. I gotta clip that out and put that in a video.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Bruce.
I can't help it.
Sorry, if you got it, flaunt it. Bruce, how do you keep cool, Bruce, down there in Dothan, Alabama?
Yeah, I see Glade in here from Utah. He says a neck fan. So anybody else that's got any ideas, throw them in the comments down there too. But the main thing I do, first of all, the ventilated jacket. If you want to wear shorts, you can wear a suit or bee pants over that, ventilated bee pants. But what I do, I recently just purchased some, I guess they're 511 pants, work pants, and they're super rugged and good, but they're super lightweight and cool. That's what I've been wearing recently. I like them a lot, but I just make sure I'm hydrated. If I don't stay hydrated, I just have to stop. My body will shut down. And we found out a couple of weeks ago, the guys here from Utah, we went through so many drinks. It was hot. It wasn't ridiculously hot, but it was hot, very humid. And the humidity is what'll just suck you dry.
Yeah.
Down here, literally, it just sucks you just sweat. That's all you do is sweat. Even when it's cool outside, out in that humidity, you start sweating just sitting still. So just got to stay hydrated, ventilated jacket, and rest. If your body tells you to rest, you have to rest. You just have to stop. And I've had times where I've been out there in the bee yard. A couple of years ago, I got out there. It was early August, and I was trying to do some stuff. And I got out there kind of 11 o'clock in the morning. It was too late to be out there. And I got about 3 or 4 hives in, and my body just said, nope. And I closed the hives up as quick as I could, got my air conditioning truck and just left. Because if I would have stayed out there any longer, I would have passed out, or who knows what would have happened. So listen to your body. The third tip, or the last tip I would give, is to get out there and do it early in the morning if you can, before it gets real hot. But if you just have to power through, just make sure you take breaks and stay hydrated. If your body tells you to stop, then stop and take a break. Get in your air conditioning vehicle, if hopefully you've got that, and just crank it up and cool down a little bit, drive around a little bit, go get lunch or something, just get away from the bee yard for a little bit and just cool down. But stay hydrated down here. It's so humid. It just literally, you'll feel pretty good. Like you'll feel super good. You'll be just rocking along. And then all of a sudden, if you're not hydrated, your body it can happen in just minutes. It'll just shut down on you. And it's pretty rough. It can be real rough if you're not careful. We had a guy, it's not beekeeping related. We had a guy in the hospital recently. I work in the hospital as a physical therapist. He was a young Latino guy. I think he said he was from Guatemala or somewhere, but he was a local roofer. He'd been working on a roofing company. And apparently he just got dehydrated, and he got real sick, and just his body just shut down, and he went into what they call rhabdomyolysis, which means that your muscles basically just kind of eat themselves a little bit. You get super dehydrated, and your tissues just start to shut down. But he was working out in the heat and sweating, and I'm sure probably wasn't hydrating well enough. And so you have to do that. I think everywhere, but especially down here.
Yeah, you deal with that's pretty intense down there. We get a little taste of that up here, and do you guys get the Canadian wildfire smoke down in your neck of the woods, Bruce?
We not Canadian really, but we do occasionally. There'll be a wildfire somewhere like in the Florida Everglades or somewhere. It's kind of weird that you'd have fires in the Everglades. We've had that before. Every once in a while we have a wildfire somewhere around in an area and it gets us, but very rare. It's not as often as you guys get it.
Yeah, the days that we get the wildfire haze with humidity and heat, it's a different kind of different kind of a day, to say the least. Brian, what about you? When you're out there working your colonies, you know, how are you making sure you're taking care of yourself while you're out there?
Yeah. Todd put this comment in there. Perfect timing. Hydration starts the day before.
Yeah.
Like
that's right. That's right, for sure.
I'll make sure, like, those hot days, like we just had those days where the heat index was, what did we get up to? Like 114, I think it was on my weather station. And I had to go out during one of those days just to check a couple things. And it's like, I had to. Didn't want to, but I had to. I will normally start my inspections, like, I make sure I'm hydrated. I always take, you know, water with me though too. That way, if I start, you know, and you are going to sweat like a pig, it's just, there's no way around that. You're going to sweat like a pig. I make sure that I got cold, you know, ice water right up in the building. That way I just got to walk, you know, what is it, 40, 50 feet, and I can take a break. I always start out my inspections though too in shorts, and I'll work them to the point until, you know, when it's that hot, the bees are grumpy. When I break like the 10, 11, 12 sting mark, then I switch over and I keep a set of jeans up in the building. That way I can just change real quick. But, you know, I start out with the least amount of clothing, like shorts, t-shirt, and then I gradually just start putting on more, you know, protective gear. But the hydration, that's key. I mean, I've been out working in the colonies, and literally you take a step and you feel your leg just cramp up. And, you know, at those moments, you're like, I got to take a break. And you got to listen to your body, because if you don't, you get into a situation, you know, like the gentleman that Bruce had in the hospital. I mean, you could have some serious problems, you know, and if you're like me, where you're out by yourself, what if I were to faint? You know, what if you were to go out? So you have to make sure that on those hot days, you pay attention to your body.
Yeah. One thing I did do before our big honey harvest with those guys coming in, first of all, Bracken did a lot better job this year. He hydrated. He said he was hydrating the whole week before, so he was ready. I think they're good. Everybody did fine. We had plenty of drinks, and and Keith made a good point too. If all you drink is water, you'll lose some of your electrolytes and salt intake. You need to actually have some type of drinks like Gatorade or something that has electrolytes in it as well. Whatever it is, maybe the liquid IV is pretty good. I haven't drunk a lot of that, but I think that's pretty good. But I actually had a IV. I had a infusion about a week before, and I went over to the local infusion clinic and just, I did it last year, worked really well. And basically, you know, it's not like I left the infusion clinic feeling like a whole new person, but I could tell a huge difference out there in the heat and humidity. Like, I just didn't tend to get as tired. I had more energy, and I didn't feel like I got dehydrated. Went ahead and drank my fluids, but I think it really helped me to have those electrolytes. You got to make sure you have the proper nutrition and electrolytes in your system ahead of time, Brian, like you said, because if you get out there and you get super thirsty and get really dehydrated, if you get really super sweaty and start feeling real thirsty, it's too late then. Your body's going to shut down on you. You have to make sure that you get ahead of it, that you prepare, you know, a day or two ahead of time, and make sure you start the day off with fluids, even when you don't feel like you need to. Start drinking early and start drinking fluids early. And so during the day, you'll be able to handle it better. But that's the humidity down here is what kills you. It does get hot. Like, we've been in the low 90s quite a bit down here, but that humidity, even if it's a day where it's like 50 or 60%, that's still fairly, I mean, that's enough to make you sweat like crazy. And then we have the days where it's much higher than that, when it's just almost unbearable. But you can get through it. Your body does adapt if you make sure you stay hydrated enough.
What Bruce Jason typed in, what do you mean by an infusion clinic? Now, I know, but for those that
infusion clinic, you can go and get basically IVs. Like, you can go in, there's a private pay, unless you have a illness and your doctor writes an order, they may pay for at least part of it. But you can go, there are infusion clinics all over the place where you can just go in. I would just look in Google it, like infusion services, and you can find a place. You go in there, and they usually have either a doctor or whatever the legal is needed, and they'll look at your medical history, they'll look at any medications you're taking, and then they'll kind of talk to you about your goals, and they can actually customize an infusion or IV for you that just really will allow you to basically replenish anything in your system it's like a super power packed vitamin IV is what it is. It goes right into your bloodstream, right into your cells. And the particular one I get, the first thing they give me is a little tiny bag that kind of opens the cells up to accept all the vitamins and stuff, and it really makes a difference. It's really good stuff. But it's like, for example, when we have alcoholics come in the hospital, they give them like a banana bag, which basically what that is it's a yellow IV that just it really cleans their system out and replenishes. Just Brian, you may know more about what's in it than I do, but just all kinds of really high powered vitamins and minerals to kind of help flush out the system. And that's kind of what it is. It just kind of helps flush your system out. It just is like a perfect cocktail of vitamins and minerals. And it really does. You know, I think in our American diets, we don't get all the stuff we need all the time. And so I think a lot of us are always working on a little bit of a deficit when it comes to vitamins, minerals, and healthy stuff in your system. Unless you're like, I know Susie and Greg, you guys eat everything perfectly. I know you guys grow your garden, you grow all your own food. So, but yeah, I'm sure but in my case, I think most of us in our American diet probably are deficient in some things, and we rock along pretty good until you get in a stress situation like what we're talking about, and then you can get in trouble. You know, your body can do amazing things, but if your body has everything it needs, it helps. And it's kind of a thing that you don't have to have. Like, I'm able to afford it. I don't do them every month. I'd like to get one like every month or every 2 weeks, but I can't do that. I'm not going to pay for that. But just to do it once or twice a year when I have a big event coming up, I really think it helped. I tried it last year. You know, typically during the summertime at my age, if I get out and I'm not hydrated, I'll just wear out like in 3 or 4 hours. I'm just done. But after I get those IVs, like a few days ahead of time, it's like I could just keep going. Like I do feel more energetic. I don't get tired or as washed out as I normally would. And I think it definitely makes a difference. It's not like a drug. It's just nutrition, really, is what it is. And it goes right to your cells. So your body doesn't have to break it down if you ingest it or eat it. It just goes right into your cells, and it's just pretty cool. Well, it's not something. Go ahead.
Yeah, those are pretty solid points there. That you got to start ahead of time. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, "Okay, I'm gonna get hydrated and go get start at 7 o'clock in the morning and be out there in blazing heat until 8 o'clock at night." It's going to be tough for you to be able, unless you're always staying hydrated. You know, I try to stay hydrated, but apparently, Brian, like if you take like a beautiful roasted coffee bean and you grind it, like what do you have to add to that to make coffee?
You're putting water in it.
See, I've been trying to tell her this for decades now. Like I'm drinking plenty of water. It's in my coffee. I can't have coffee, and you can't just eat coffee. There's water in coffee bean equals
then eat the coffee bean and drink flavored, the water.
And it's caffeinated flavored water. You know, like look at all the Propels and the Gatorades, and like I just got regular old coffee. That works, doesn't it?
No, it's a diuretic.
Now, she just took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, have you ever heard of that there word called a diuretic?
Well, all right. So what I wouldn't say she makes me. Apparently, is it fair to say you want to keep me around as long as possible?
Well, I kind of like you.
So one thing that I have done, because she says, "All right, knucklehead, we don't want you to die out in the bee yard," is, she'll feed me bananas, and she'll make sure that I'm drinking water. All the girls now at home, they're saying, "Dad, how much water did you drink today?" And I said, "Well, how many cups of coffee did I?" "Dad, that doesn't count. How many bottles of water did you drink today?" So the girls are now on me, which I appreciate. But one of the things that I used to really, really like was the liquid IV powders into my drinks. And so I would make sure I would have some of that early in the day. And then every night as I'm going to bed and taking my, evening supplements, I would, wash it down with that and also eat another banana. And that helps me get into the next morning. When I stay on that kind of a pattern, it does really well. But I know we talked about this last week, but I asked an 88-year-old farmer who was running circles around me, "How in the world do you do it? What's the secret?" And he said, you got to listen to your body. and you start to learn like, okay, this is what happens, this, and then this, and then this, and then I'm laid out for X amount of time. What I notice with myself is I'll get out there, I'll start just dripping so much sweat that you start to cool off, and it feels really, you start to feel pretty good. But then it kind of goes to the next level where I start to get these headaches. I start to, my hive tool hand, like when I'm out working bees, like this hive tool it's stuck here. It doesn't leave here. Like it's always stuck between I've had so much hand trauma. I can't, but it's stuck here with this pinky finger. It lives here. It is never ever leaving this. If it's not here, it's right in my back pocket. And what I'll notice is I'll get, when I start to get bad, because I'm listening to my body, my hand cramps up and my hand starts to do this. And then all of a sudden I go to grab my hive tool and I can't open up my hand. The next thing I'll start to feel it in my hamstrings. And then my feet, I can feel my feet curling like this, and they start to cramp up really bad. And then I'll get Charlie horses. That's when it gets a little bit too far, because when it goes from there, I try to walk through it and try to get through that. I'll start to get really, really dizzy, and then I'll get these be flush with goosebumps all over the place. And then you get then I've literally found myself standing in the middle of the bee yard, forgetting what in the world am I doing out here. That's taking it too far.
When you get that first cramp or start to feel like you're going to, just you get in your truck and go home. Put the lid on the hive and get out of there, because you could end up laid out on the bee yard if you're not careful. That's the point. I've never really cramped up like that before, but I have been dizzy, and I've gotten to the point where I feel like I was going to pass out, and just I just get in my truck. My body says you stop, and
I've been out there and had fingers just go like that, and then I'm out there with my other hand going like this,
trying to do that.
My hand back up, and I'm like, okay, I can still grab a hive tool.
The idea is
if they clamp on the hive tool, I won't let go of it.
The old man was right. You got to listen to your body, or else you will be done. And that could mean more than just, that could mean in the hospital, it could mean worse. So you have to prepare and just take care of yourself. But nothing is worth, no hive of bees getting split is worth your life. And so that's just the bottom line. And people, I mean, we live down here, and it gets hot up there too. I mean, you guys have been hotter than us the last couple of weeks, I think. And so it's no less dangerous up there than it is here. And out west, where it gets in the hundreds, 95 to 100, 105 degrees, it's a dry heat, but it just absolutely saps you. Like when I'm out there, it's almost harder on me. I almost do better down here because I'm used to it. But you just have to take care of your body. In the wintertime, it's the same thing. There's things you have to do to take care of your body too. But yeah, absolutely. Just just prepare yourself on whatever it takes. Just, you're worth, we got to stay on this side of the grass, this side of the dirt as long as we can. So just take care of yourself, and it can be done. You just got to pace yourself. Another thing is pace yourself. I think that's kind of what the old guy was talking about. You can go out and you just don't, if you listen to your body and you stop and take a break and get, drink some water, drink some Gatorade, drink some liquid IV, and just stop for 20 minutes and just sit in your truck or sit under a shade tree and just cool down. Then you can go back to work. If you keep pushing it, you're going to end up in the grass, or you're going to end up at home and not able to do anything the rest of the day. And so,
at least, super sometimes important. The next day, what I've noticed is
it's worse the next day.
And I'll humbly admit, I've been a knucklehead way too much, and I don't listen to her as much as I should. And those times where I'm out, you get into that I've just got to get it done mode, and whatever it takes, and you're just pushing yourself to get it done, to do it, to go. You end up, I've gotten that bad a couple times this year, and what ends up happening is the next day I am in such a brain fog that I might as well not even leave. I might as well just try to get something done inside somewhere, because you can't make decisions. You find yourself pulling out frames of bees, and you're just looking at it, and I'm still trying to, and then the weird headaches come on. It can take a little while to recover.
Let me see what Susie thinks about this. You mentioned coffee before. I don't drink coffee, never had a cup of coffee in my life, but I know a lot of people do. And then any type of caffeine, in my opinion, anything that's going to give you energy, that's artificial energy, that can also get you in a worse situation, because your body thinks it can do more than what it can do. Does that make sense? So if you're drinking coffee, if you're drinking energy drinks, you're going out there in the heat, I think, because you have more energy than you normally would. So it's almost putting your body in a state of hyper ability for a while. But I think if you're not careful, you can crash even harder then. So that's something I would be careful of as well. Be sure and stay hydrated, but also be sure about artificial things you're putting in your body that could create that energy.
Sorry about that.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but especially if coffee is a diuretic, plus it gives you energy. It's kind of doing the opposite of what I know you want to have energy, of course, but maybe your body is masking over some of those things that you might have noticed earlier before you hit that crash state, if that makes sense. If you don't have those things going on, then you'll start to recognize the symptoms sooner, in my opinion. Do you think that's true, Brian? And I don't know what you think, you guys, but that's Susie. I don't know if y'all agree with that or Greg, but that's just kind of what I think. Just artificial things that create it. And I'll forget a headache, I'll take Excedrin, and that's got caffeine in it. So I'm not saying anything about it, but we just have to be careful. Bottom line is just be careful and pace yourself. And when you're going to be out in the heat and doing anything super strenuous in your body, allow your body's senses, your natural senses, to be in top order so they can let you know when you need to slow down and you can monitor your actual system better instead of masking over some of those signs that you may have early. That's just the thought I have. That came to my mind, and that's kind of what I think.
Agreed. Yep. I like that.
I feel like we're at a Coffee Anonymous meeting all of a sudden. This is a coffee intervention. It's true. And like the last couple weeks, I barely get through like 3/4 of a cup of coffee in the mornings, and it just, it's almost though my body knows, man, you don't want that today. And so it's like, I can't get through the first cup. Other times a year, I drink a whole pot,
So what you got to do, Greg, is do like I do the mushroom coffee. Cause then you could say, oh, no. This is benefiting my brain, my energy levels, my health. So see there, you could come.
I like the idea that I do take lion's mane to help with the brain,
There's one that I found that's got 10 different ones in it.
Yeah.
And I do it every day. Now you can actually take it, and I'm kind of not helping you out here, but you can actually mix it with just hot water because it has enough of a taste. So it is similar to the taste of coffee.
Yeah.
But if you need the caffeine, I take a teaspoon a day, put it in my coffee, and I have that every morning, and I limit myself now 1 cup. So I do my cup with the mushroom coffee, and then I switch over to usually water.
Question: will that turn your urine blue like the other stuff she makes me drink?
That's awesome.
Just wait till I add red light therapy.
Oh, okay. All right. This is getting wild, guys. So
these high-powered vitamins, they'll turn it bright yellow, so it's almost like fluorescent.
She's got me drinking this toilet bowl water stuff now too, and it's blue in it. Anyways, I digress. See, you're supposed to help keep me in line here tonight.
What other questions do we have?
Well, I'm going to thank Mr. Bruce's Bees for the super chat. Hashtag summer beekeeping. Hashtag stay hydrated. Hashtag STREAMTEAM. Hashtag be the lighthouse. And Brian, thank you so much for your super chat. Yeah. Hashtag dialing it in. Hashtag don't get crazy. Hashtag buckets stacked high.
Nice.
That's
awesome. Super. Susie, what's one way that, what's one way that you've been out? We can talk about it. What time is it? We got a little bit longer before we got to get moving tonight. Got some other things that we got to get to tonight. What's one thing here in the shop? You're out working with bees, and the girls and the boys are out there with me too. What's something that you do inside the shop to stay cool?
Yeah. Yes, honey.
No, what's one thing that you do to stay cool?
Yeah. Yes, honey.
Yes, honey.
Does that mean she eats honey?
Yes, honey.
I see what she's doing there.
You mean yes, honey? Look at this.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
It's back in stock, brand new can. Oh. My absolute favorite one.
Ready?
Here we go.
He's between him and the kids. I don't know who's worse, but do you see what is in the can? This is why I approve.
This is why.
Look at the side. Drink.
I got it open. Don't spill it on my computer.
As God intended. No artificial dyes, colors, sweeteners, gluten-free, caffeine-free, alpha-gal friendly, and 100% honey sweetened. Yes and amen.
Yeah. So no goofy colors, none of that kind of stuff. I think this one is even.
It is mama approved.
This one is caffeine.
I'm not a very good.
I'm going to spill it. This one's even caffeine free.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite ones here. Back in stock here at Nature's Image. So it's bad when you're a distributor of this because we have a whole skid of this.
I've got to watch them. Me
and the boys, what I found, like for lunch, midday type stuff, I'd love to have a little cold one of those. It's just, especially, and I'm okay with it. Some of them, okay with that one. Some of them are caffeinated, some of them aren't. Some have things like ashwagandha and things in there, so you get like natural little boost of energy. I like the peach, but that does have caffeine. It's not the same as like you're not going to get your energy drink style. You know, don't go looking for 200 milligrams or anything, but our whole family absolutely loves it. And all of our customers that come in just love that we have the throwback vintage Coke cooler filled with them. So yeah, we got an old school Coke cooler in here. And yeah.
Is it carbonated?
Very lightly. So lightly. It's
that's what I could do. I don't like highly carbonated stuff, but lightly carbonated. I like lightly carbonated.
It's very lightly carbonated.
Yep.
Hashtag inventory adjustment. Yeah, I've gotten in trouble with her and her mom boss in here that runs inventory. Is they'll run through with the check and they'll say, why are we 14 cans short of Yes Honey this week? And everyone looks over at me. And it's like one of those trickle down. I try to find one of the little boys to look at and say, it was the fellows. They were in here working. It was hot. Gotta stay hydrated, So, but anyways, what a great product. A great family. Favorite. Heather Mincer, her and her husband both are awesome. We met them back at, if you remember the walkthrough video from the Bee Expo, where I met them for the first time and did a blind taste test of all the flavors, fell in love with the product and their business. So we're honored to have Yes Honey here in the shop. So now I can sip on that thing a little bit tonight. Let's go ahead and get to another giveaway, Brian, before we get to the next topic. What do you want to give away next?
Let's switch it up here. Let's go back and forth. Let's do a hat. Let's do the hat.
All right. So hashtag America. Hashtag MERIC.
You just changed it. He had hat.
Oh, he already had it? Oh, Brian already had it. Sorry, Brian. You're good. Whatever Brian says.
Hat one?
Yes.
Hat one.
Yes.
Look at this. Nature's Image Farm, classic. Okay. Stars and stripes, red, white, and blue. We are really just really excited about made in the USA products, like for real. We're not just slapping a USA flag on something. We're so proud of some of the products that we have here. So if you're looking for the best wax equipment or made in the USA, like for real, honey processing equipment, check us out at nature'simagefarm.com. Shoot us a message. So right now, hashtag hat one for a red, white, and blue and DuraHive wax dipped ball cap. So
does it have to be hashtag or just gonna be hat one or both?
Either. It'll
Either
pick
one
it
is
up.
fine. Okay.
See,
Brian's
all right. Brian's a wizard when it comes to that. So let's talk about this. Let's go why folks are getting that dialed in. Did you see what I did here? See, I even got her doing it now. Everywhere we go, she's going to just carry that thing around. Just see. Yes. Well, you're really good at that.
Hold on, it's upside
down.
Keep
it in her pocket. If it's in your pocket, nicely. She just carry it in her pocket or in her pocket. And
I'm so cool. I just flip it.
There's actually two sides to that.
She loves. I can tell she likes it. She likes the idea of it. See.
Yep.
We are going to be dialing some things, and we'll talk about that right now, guys. What are you doing? Like, what is critical action right now in your bee yards that you've got to make sure that you get done this week? Like, without exception, this has to get done right now. Let's start with let's keep the order again. Bruce, let's go down to you. What is something that you have got to do for sure this week with your bees?
In 2 words, mite treatment. Period.
Very nice. Yeah.
That's happening tomorrow. So
do you have a solid plan in place for that you
I
feel
do.
good about?
we talked about it last week on here, and then I've actually talked to Tyler Walker down here, the commercial guy, and he had a whole pallet of Viroxan. And so I'm going to put that in all my colonies, and I'm just going to kind of monitor them, see how they look. And then I may hit them, every couple of weeks with a heavy dose of oxalic acid vapor, just to help knock down any mites that are on the bees, and we'll see what happens. I think that I know the Viroxan, that theoretically it's like the towels, the sponges. I looked at the recipe for those sponges, and I just don't have the time to do it. And I'm going to try. I did the Viroxan, and it decreased, kept the numbers down throughout the honey flow. I do have some mites, but not as bad as I had last year. So I think it helped keep them down, and we're going to see if it knocks them down. And then I'm going to go back and, probably when I pull the strips out, I'll assess again, and I may go ahead and hit them with something else, whether it be, probably maybe I've got some things in mind. Last year I had a plan where I knocked them down pretty good with Apivar this summer. Then I hit them with Apigard in the fall. Then I hit them with OAV in the wintertime around Christmas. And then I hit them, and it did good. So this year I'm kind of, instead of Apivar, I'm trying the Viroxan. I hit him in the spring with that, but I'm going to hit him again with it now, and we'll just see what happens. He had a whole pallet of it. I got it for a significantly lower amount of, cost, probably 20% less than it had I order more. Like if you order them from Man Lake, they're $89 for a pack of 60. If you order them, now there was a sale with Man Lake. If you ordered 10 boxes of them, 600 of them, you got them for $20 less per box. That was $69 per 60. I got them for, I think it was a little over, like 84 cents per strip. And so it was a lot cheaper.
And you need, on a double brood, you need, is that 10 strips total?
If it's one for every 2.5. So I ordered 900 strips. I got 900 strips. And if I have any extras, I'll let, other people like my mentee.
It ends up costing you like $14 per colony. In doubles.
8 times 83 cents.
Oh,
so
okay.
$7 or so.
So $7. Yeah.
$7.50.
That's where that's.
It's just it's a time is money thing for me.
Right,
it's just so easy just to buy them, open the package up, stick them in there. And it's just, with my full-time job, we looked at the recipe and everything of how to do the other stuff. And I've talked to several people about it down here. The bee inspector and Tyler both say they've seen some good results with the Viroxan, but it's a brand new product. So nobody's used it long enough to really see what happens over time, because it just came out last year for the first time. So nobody really knows, but I'm gonna see what happens. And so if we test in August and they're just as bad as they are or worse, then I'll know it didn't work. So I won't use it again next year. But I think we're gonna see some good results. I know Brian at Flower Street has been laying them across the top of his frames. I'm gonna use it per labeling. I'm gonna let Brian tell me what he finds out. If he has good results, maybe I'll do it that way next time. If I do it next time, but I'm all about rotating now. I'm not going to use one treatment over and over again. So, next year I'll just see. But that's what my plan is. I've got the strips. They're going in the hives tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you've got a plan together, you're doing something, I think is the main thing. We've looked at every treatment, I think, from every angle, and extended release OA, I think it makes sense. But when you're looking at the studies, for now, I'll just say it can be cost prohibitive for a lot of folks, but no matter what you do, having dead bees is even more cost prohibitive.
Well, when we're looking at 40 cents more per strip, if you order them, like if you don't have the number of colonies I have, or if you don't have a commercial beekeeper friend that ordered a pallet of them,
sure.
That's a lot more money. We're talking, if I had ordered 900 strips at full price, it would have been like $1,400 or something like that. It would have been crazy, or for $1,300.
Yep.
But I got it for $700, right at $750. So for 900 strips is what I paid. I think something like that. I think
that
it's
helps.
So I mean, you just got, if you have the friend, and if you order in bulk, like I don't know if Man Lake is still running that deal, but when I ordered them before, if you ordered 10 packs or more, it was $69 instead of $89 per pack of 60.
Yeah.
So that saved me, $20 per pack, but still way less now. But he ordered, I don't know how many thousands of strips he had to order to fill up an entire pallet. I got 900 strips and it was 15 packs, and that was like a box and a half. And
Right.
he had a whole pallet of boxes. So there's no telling how many thousand strips he ordered. But he did go in on it with some other people. He's not using them all himself. He has a couple thousand colonies, but he didn't need an entire pallet. But what he told me is a group of them went in together and ordered it. And so he had some left over for me. And so I was glad to just try and purchase some. But it pays sometimes, fortunately.
Yep. That's the way it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm glad you got a plan together and you're using some different things on there. So I'll look forward to seeing how your results shake out.
I was gonna do a third Viroxan, a third Apivarn, a third the OAV extended release sponges, but I'm like, I just can't. I don't have the time to. I just don't have the time to do that. I'm lucky to have tomorrow off to be able to get them in tomorrow. I've got to get something in there, and I just don't have time. I've got one day because I got to work the 4th of July, and then Saturday I got tomorrow to get it done, and so I just trying to figure out how to. Unfortunately, the bee inspector, he went in and did the washes for me, so I don't have to spend any time doing that. He wrote on the boxes what they were, so now I'll be able to see which ones were, what the numbers were, so I don't have to do all that myself. And then I'm hoping he does that for a living, so he was more than willing to do it for me. People are scared of the government; they're worried about the bee inspectors, but the guy down here, like even he is super helpful and wants to help you succeed, and he'll walk you through any treatment you want to use, and he'll talk about pros and cons of it, and he's really, really good to work with. He's not trying to shut you down; he's trying to help you, and so he's great. And he just said, "Yeah, man, I'll be glad to do it for you." Went to all my bee yards and tested them, and tested it, got a certain sample enough. I said, "Test enough that you think it'll give us a good idea," and that's what he did. He sent me the numbers, and off we go.
Awesome. Brian, what's something that is a critical action for you for this week?
So assess colonies. Well, let me back up. Pull honey, assess the colonies, mite washes, treat.
Yep.
That'll be in the next, I probably am going to extract on Saturday. And then I'll probably end up going back over on Sunday just to do some spot assessments on those that I know I have to check. The ones that are queen right, I'm not going to bother with messing with them after extracting. And then I'll do some washes and treat. But when I treat now, I did use the Viroxan last year. The only thing that I can say, and I've seen a couple comments in here that basically said the same thing that I saw, is when you drapes those buggers down your frames, wherever the strips were touching, the wax was just gone.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was clear to the foundation then. So whether the bees removed it and moved that wax, I don't know. But I did use it. I didn't have any, as far as my washes. Now my numbers last year, I think my highest wash was 3. So, I had a lot of 0s, 1s, 2s, a couple 3s. I can say honestly, I mean, my mite counts didn't jump high, so the Viroxan had to have worked. And last year, the reason why I went to the Viroxan, it was similar like Bruce. I just did not have the time when I wanted to treat, to go over with the OAV. I couldn't take every 5 days going over and spending, the hour or whatever. I couldn't do it. This year throughout July, I don't have anything where I'm going to be out of town. So I'm going to go every 5 days. Once I do my washes, I'll go every 5 days, hit them with the OAV, and then might wash afterwards and see where they're all at. So, but it's just more or less like cleanup. July is more or less like, let's get the honey off. Let's assess the colony, see where they're at. And then let's check out the pest situation and kill some pests if they have them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I have a little box here. I'm going to open it up. I haven't seen what's in here yet, but Jared Malcolm, he's over in Missouri, and he has a couple of, I guess he's kind of an inventor. He's thought of some products. One of them is a hive beetle. It's a little, I'm going to start using them. I'm going to have them in my truck. I'm going to start using them. It's a little U-shaped thing that you put over the top of the frames for hive beetles, and it holds it up off the frame enough the hive beetles can fit under it to hide. And then when you get in the hive to check it, you just push it down and smash all the hive beetles. So it's kind of a concept. He just sent me some to try out. I haven't tried them yet because I haven't seen a lot of hive beetles, but I'm sure it's going to happen. And then he also sent me, these are some clips. He heard, I don't know if he asked me what kind of treatment I was going to use or if he heard me talking about Viroxan and Apivar, but he sent me these clips and I haven't even opened the box yet. I'm opening it right now. They just came today, which is perfect timing.
See? These
clips right here, they're good for Apivar or for Viroxan or any strips that hang between the hives. It looks like you just stick, I guess you tear the strips in half.
Oh, yeah.
And you stick it up in there and it can hang down without touching the sides of the comb, like Brian was talking about. So see, it's got a little clamp on the bottom and just, I guess you slide the strip up in there. I don't have enough for all my hives, but I'm going to try it on some of them. I got a pretty good box full here. He sent me quite a few.
You got a visitor, Bruce.
Who is that?
She disappeared.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't care anything about being on here. But anyway, that's a pretty good idea. I asked her to bring this down. Lee and Tana Fellows came down and helped us, and then Tana sent Annette. I guess she made this. They're from Tennessee. She sent this apron right here.
Oh, that is
very cute.
Adorable.
And,
oh my goodness.
Bottom of Scott.
Oh my goodness, that's so cute.
We got that literally like about a week after they were down here, so she must have gotten right on that when anyways, very, very, Annette thought that was so sweet. Lee asked me what my address was. I had no idea what it was for, and then this just showed up. So Lee, if you watch this, I think Lee may work at night, so he may not be able to watch it live, but if you watch this after the fact, Lee, or if you listen to it, we really appreciate that from you guys sending that apron to us. Annette thought it was awesome. Anyway, so this may be a solution, Brian, I don't know, to try for the Viroxan. This I'm interested in trying both of his products, but this is from once again Ozark Bee Barn, Jared Malcolm in Missouri. I don't know if Tom and Melissa know him or not. It's in Carl Junction, Missouri. But those, in Apivar, Apivar has the same problem. When you hang the Apivar strips down, if you don't use like a toothpick or some way to hold them up, if they touch the side, the bees, I think they just try to create space to be able to walk there. And so if the thing is leaning up against the comb, my theory is the bees just clean that out so they can walk around behind it. But it's never been a huge issue to me because when you pull the strips out, they just rebuild the comb there. It doesn't stay gone. It's not like bare there. And I know some people are worried about the little bit of brood behind them, but it's not. When you think about the overall surface area. But a lot of people in the comments are talking about how they laid across the top, and it seems to work fine too. So I don't know.
We'll try some of each, Bruce. Let us know.
Maybe I'll try some of both.
Each,
that's probably a good idea. Just try some of both. Anyway, awesome. I didn't mean to dominate the conversation, but
no, that's great. Good stuff. Brian, would you go ahead and let her rip on the hat drawing? And then Susie and I were throwing around some ideas this week. And if you think you would like to see a little more Greg and Susie on the podcast, would you comment? Eugene Nelson, congratulations. You're the winner of the Stars and Stripes Endura Hive hat. Go to our website, naturesimagefarm.com. Click the About Us. Shoot us a message. And we will, with your address and such, and we will get that shipped out to you. So thanks again. The next one, we're going to go ahead and get a couple of these going. Susie is mom bus lady and has to go pick up some kids tonight. So she will see you guys. Taxi service is going to be in full swing here. But if you would like to see a little more Greg and Susie doing some more podcasts and some appearances here, doing some bee talks and stuff, would you shoot us a comment? Let us know in the comments of this video if you'd like to see some more of that, or shoot us a message. I'm trying to convince her to help pretty up some of the screen time here. I can use all the help that I can get. So,
boss.
But next thing we're going to give away is a fanny pack. You know you want it. You know you need it. And hey, I know some of you are manly enough to wear it. It's pretty cool.
They call that crossbody. You wear it like a crossbody, or you can use it as a traditional fanny pack from the 80s. So Crossbody means you put
it's
it
not
like,
really
like,
a fanny pack if it's across your body, is it?
Like this. You can put it like across like this, and then it's just more of
that
a,
looks more like an ammo pouch.
Yeah. So it depends on how you need to wear it.
Ammo pouch?
And well, I think, the fanny pack, people used to like slide them behind them. Well, nowadays you can get that unzipped and they can steal your wallet or phone or whatever out of it. So if you put it across your body, it's right there. You can see everything going on.
Nice.
So,
well, hey,
love the fannies.
Before you run off to go pick up some of the kids,
that came out wrong.
What's one of the big things that you think that we've got to get? Gee, many Christmas.
Sorry.
See, it's
PG. Yeah. I got put a flag up. It's like in soccer. She got yellow flagged, red flag.
What is something that we absolutely got to get done this week, you think, with the bees?
We absolutely, yes. We need to do kind of the same thing. We've got to still pull honey, but then and treatment and honey, we've got to get all those things done. Check mark.
Honey's the big thing. It's kind of it's like always in the way. We got to get that off. Then what I want to do is either split and then treat, or treat and then split. But our next couple big rounds of queen grafting is still ahead, and then we'll be done and through that. So a couple more rounds of grafting, maybe another 300 or 400 virgins that I think we'll fool with, and then we'll call it good from there. But
Greg,
yes, sir. Yep.
You think you could find an extractor anywhere around there to be able to extract the honey?
There's, which one do we choose? I'm actually little hint. I wanted to get it done this year. It's just we're just spread too thin. But one of the fun things I'm looking forward as a fall winter project for next year is we're working on a dedicated honey house here. So it's going to be fun to deck that rascal out and build it the right way, the way that we want it, and to be able to fill it with nothing but made in the USA Maxon equipment. It's going to be awesome. I think we can find an extractor or 3 around here, Bruce, that we could do something with.
Or 10 maybe.
One
10.
is
yeah.
2 is 1.
I think one of the we'll talk about it. One of the most perfect setups for a wide range of a scale. I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. You got to take off,
Fanny.
So let's. She's making the notes. I'm going to try to make the notes on the rest of the giveaways. Then we're going to cut loose for tonight.
You only have...
Brian, let it rip on the fanny pack.
Yes.
The winner for tonight's fanny pack / ammo pouch / cross. What?
Gina. Congratulations.
Wait, it's going. It's doing the thing.
Sorry.
The winner
Brian,
is Mr. Curtis Smith. Come on down.
Email address, and home address.
Go to nature'simagefarm.com, click the About Us, shoot us a message, and we'll be sure to get that out to you. So thanks so much. We got a couple more things to give away, a couple more questions.
I have space here, and then you can write here.
She's got it organized. Okay, she's got it organized here to make sure I write all the things.
Don't lose the
I'm going to try to do my best.
Note. Okay. All right. I'll have to go back and watch this if you do.
All right. You're going to make sure we do it all the right way and all that.
Right. The taxi, the yellow cab sign is coming on.
All right.
So
well, hey, thanks for putting up the screen.
Yes. Everybody have a blessed evening. I was so glad to be on. Now I'm off to my next destination.
Are we going to do it again? Can I con you back in here? I mean, I wore a clean shirt, put on a new hat.
You know what? Like I say, let me just consider that.
Okay. Oh, she's going to put a pin in that, I think.
We're going to put a
is
pin
what she's saying. Susie, thanks for joining us tonight. I'll see you in a little bit. We got a lot more giveaways to come up right after this. Awesome. Well, I've got to make sure I do this right and give the stuff away the right way. So if I mess something up, just let me know. I've got a note here. We've got the hat. Oh, I'm supposed to call or get a hold of Michael at 21st Bee. Hat goes to Eugene. Hive tool goes to Eric. Curtis gets the fanny pack. The next thing we'll go ahead and get that going is we're going to give away an entire case. An 18-pound case of the Hive Alive Easy Feed Super Syrup. They're neat little pouches. They're very handy. Yeah, Bruce.
They're very great. I didn't. They sent me some to try in the spring, and I thought, I don't really need these. But when we made our splits in, I think it was the February splits we did, I only had one box. How many were in a box? I think there were 11 or 12. How many were in a box?
Yep.
9. So there were 9 in a box. So that was, I think we had 10 or 11 splits at that location that we did nukes. Maybe it was 9, whatever it was. In one spot, I had split my splits. I had half in one area, half in another. One area I didn't use those. The other area I did, and they are perfect. You put them in the top of the hive. If you got to have a little room in there, whether it be a patty rim or I think there's a little extender. I can't remember how big it is, but man, they give those bees a head start. You just lay them on there, you put a little slit in them, and the bees, it just works perfectly. So, it's just ready to go. You take them out of the box, put them in there. It is a little more pricey than trying to mix up your own, but man, it's just so convenient. If you're trying to save time, it's a great product.
They're handy. I tell you where I really like them this year is we made a bunch of splits and nukes in the Pro Nuke boxes, and those fit beautifully on top of the frame, just under the lid. And so we ran into an issue with in the very beginning of the season, we made a lot of splits, and then it got cold and wet, and so there was nothing going on out there. So we had just pulled the split, but they needed more feed. So this was a beautiful insurance policy on putting the feed on them. I also like that in colonies where I'm holding virgins in. I can put one of those right on top, put a little shim, and I can make sure that there is plenty of syrup in and around where the virgins are being nurtured and cared for. So, is that going to replace, heavy, high volume feeding? No, but I think it's a handy 2-pound little sachet of feed that you can find a great use for. So, Brian will get that one kind of moving forward. What are some things that you're looking for? When are you finally going to start pulling the honey? Is there some magical point in time where you say, on this date, I'm doing it? What are you looking for in your colonies, Brian?
I tell you, I've learned through the years that before I even get over to the colonies, I watch the environment. And you'll know ahead of time. You'll know by watching, like I said, I kind of know my area, and we all know context is key. Every area is different. But I know at least here, when the clover starts to taper off, I need to get the supers off. And like when I was out today, every time I'm walking Eli, I'm staring down. I'm not watching where he's at. I'm staring down at the grass, and I'm looking at the clover to see what the flowers are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I use to judge, well, should I pull? Now, from how they look and from the activity I saw out in the yard, could I probably sneak another week out of the supers that are on there right now? Yeah, I probably could. But my thought is, let me get the honey off right now, and then I'm going to put a wet super back on each of the colonies. And that way they can clean that up. And if there's still a little bit of a flow, well, they're not going to start backfilling brood area. They can throw it back up in that super. So, but, and I won't pull that. I'll leave it on throughout the summer. I'll just do some spot checks on it. But like with the single brood that I'm doing also, I have a deep and then a medium. That very first medium I will never harvest. So I want that filled. So more or less, like right now, I'm watching that clover.
Mm-hmm.
By the signs I see on that clover, that's going to dictate it. But I think I'm just going to get ahead of the game. I mean, I don't want to get too far. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into July and then have our weather go nuts And then I end up getting stuck behind an 8-ball and having them just devour what little bit of honey I'm going to get.
Yeah, that's my next question. Bruce, when is it too late to pull your late spring, early summer honey?
When the hive beetles start sliming it out.
Well, that's
Yeah.
So
I don't know, that's just the danger. The longer you leave it on there, some people here don't harvest until July, late July, and that's what I did originally. And it's okay, but I just like to get it off when they're done, when the flow's slowing down, when they're, when you're about to go into that difficult time of the summer, when the dearth is about to hit and when the bees are about to brew back. I found out the hard way, you need to get that honey off. If you leave it on there down here with all the hive beetle pressure, you get in trouble in a hurry. And so, plus I just like to get it done. But a lot of people out here don't harvest till July. It's not that big a deal. Last year we pulled some in July. We didn't get it all in June. So it's not a huge deal, but I would certainly try to get it off down here. I would by mid to late July if I could. I guess some people go on into the fall, but I would never try that. I learned the hard way not to do that. So I don't do that anymore if I can help it.
Brian, have you ever waited too long to pull honey? What happens?
They devour it.
Yeah, they start to eat it as well. Yeah, you're right.
Because I still have the 9-to-5 job and I work. Back years ago when I very first started, and it was when I was still traveling also. So I wouldn't be home, Monday through Friday a lot of times, and I would go over specifically on Saturdays. And when I didn't know any better, and because I wasn't around a lot, so I couldn't look at the environment, I would end up too busy on a Saturday, and I'd say, okay, I'll just extract next week. Next week comes around, and I would have looked, and I'm like, okay, there's weight here. And then the next week comes around, and I go there, and over half of the honey is gone. And I'm just like, well, this stinks. So, I have waited, and then I've lost a lot of honey. But, really in the grand scheme, if the bees needed it, well, I guess it wasn't, a total loss. So
that's the thing that I've tried to, there's a fine line between saying, we'll just leave it on the colony, they'll keep it safe. And then it going a little bit south. What I've found is if you leave all that honey on there, eventually you get into the year where the bees brew down, especially if you hit a dearth. The bees brew down, and now you're really in trouble. Has anybody here ever tried to pull honey off during a dearth? Let's just say it's less than ideal.
Yeah,
you start cracking the lid and pull the first box or first frame out of there. The first, as soon as the neighborhood knows that you've got lunch, you have seen robbing second to none, and it is, the bees are everywhere, all over everything. No sooner pull a clean super off and it's loaded full of bees, and it's a absolute nightmare. I've had it. I've waited so long to where I have pulled off clean supers of honey, started off, put them on the truck, and there were just a lid was off, or there was just a crack somewhere, and then you get in and start, and then the robbing ensues. Next thing you know, I've had 4, 5, 6, 10 supers of honey that are on a truck as I'm pulling it, that are just, they're empty. They are uncapping it and devouring it before you can even get it back. So if you're loading up 30 or 40 or 50 supers, it doesn't take long for the bees to find all that. It's amazing how long it takes them to store it versus how long it takes them to devour it out of there. So you can wait too long and have just a robbing frenzy, the likes of which have never been seen. It's horrible. It's the worst.
Yeah. Last year.
Yeah, last year was case in point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. If you're trying to, and we have pulled when it was the beginning of robbing season, you just got to make sure you get them off quick, get the bees out of them, get them stacked somewhere with them covered, or they will just, not only do they rob them and they consume some of the honey, but they also end up with you in your honey house, which you don't want.
That's a nightmare.
So that's another nightmare. So you better have your bee vac available. We did a good job this year of getting the bees out of there. The best job we've probably ever done. But so
I know Ian's not on here probably anymore. So thanks for tuning in when you did, Ian. I can't remember if it was him that I seen do it in a video, but as we prep the building for to turn it into a honey house, I'm thinking that I want to put a window in that actually opens and let the bees hit the window, and then as it starts to get dark, open the window and just blow them out or let them fly out and use that to evacuate.
So what my buddy Rusty does, he actually does that. He has windows that you can just kind of peel them back from the corner. Maybe it's a screen anyway. But so what he does is he peels the corner back big enough for the bees to come out through the corner of the window. And so those bees will, as the sun sets, as they go there even during the day, if you still have a few bees in the honey house, they go up and out through that crack and they can't figure out how to get back in. And it works extremely well. Another trick that he used this year to keep his bees from coming and trying to get in the honey house is he has some small fans in the windows blowing the air out. And so the bees will collect where the smell of that honey is blowing out from those fans. So they don't tend to want to come in the screens where we have the big doors. They tend to kind of collect around where you're blowing the air out. That's an interesting thing he does as well. He also has a fan on the inside that he blows air in to help it keep it circulating. But that's one thing that he does that tends to help a little bit. But the best thing to do is to try and just get them all out when you're collecting the honey. But it's very difficult if you're in robbing season, or if like we did this year, we tried to get some out in the rain. They're real clingy. They don't want to get off the comb that way.
But
we still did a pretty good job. Hey, briefly, I want to show you a picture of this beetle crusher thing from Jared Malcolm up in Missouri. I don't know if you can see this or not. It sits on the top of a frame. It's that shape right there. And if you look at it from that angle, see on the end of it, there's like a space where the beetles can go in there. And then the idea is that, let's see, that's what it looks like. The idea is that when you go in the hive, the bees run all the beetles in there, and then you just push it down and crush the beetles that are underneath it when you get in the hive. The bees can't get into the beetles can. And so that's one way to eliminate a lot of beetles at once. And so if anyone lives where you have a hive beetle problem, you might want to the name of the company is Ozark Bee Barn. I haven't tried these yet, but I have some in my truck. I'm going to be trying them. He sent me a box. I'm going to be trying them out here in the next, as I see beetle problems, I'm going to start trying them in my hives. I've got 2 or 3 different methods I'm going to try this year. A couple of new ones I've never tried before, and we'll see how it works out. But I mentioned those earlier. I just wanted to show you a picture of it.
Nice.
Oh, hey, Greg, I don't know if this is the appropriate time or not, but Hives for Heroes is I need to mention this before I forget about it. It's a tragedy happened down here. The Hives for Heroes director in Alabama, his name is Ken Lebowitz. You've probably seen his name, but I don't think he's been to the expo. I'm not sure he's been to the expo before. He goes to the Alabama conferences and local ones, but I don't really ever made it up to the expo. His wife, very quickly and tragically, she just got really sick. It sounds like I don't know a lot of details, but he lives in Andalusia it's about 75, 80 miles from here, I think, or something like that. Just a great guy, just, your perfect Hives for Heroes person. And she tragically passed away a couple of days ago. Her 48th birthday was yesterday. She, from what he said on his post, she just got really sick, like real bad stomach problems. And she, I think, was kind of battling it for a couple of days, and then ended up going to the hospital. His daughter said that I guess that she was having a hard time breathing. They got her to the hospital and she passed away. Not sure. What'd you say, Brian? Did you see what they said?
I did. I saw, like, I've read some of his posts. They went to the hospital and they sent him home, and like the pain continued. And I guess his daughter went in and had said, mom's not breathing right. And they went in, and I think they think that it was like a perforated bowel or something that caused it. I don't know the exact reason, the exact cause.
Yep. It was the day before her birthday, the day before her 40th birthdays. But anyway, so that, this is serious life, literally life and death type of stuff. But please, Ken Lebowitz is his name. If you want to just thoughts and prayers, offer up a prayer for him, whatever. But we need to, we need to keep him in our thoughts. Lisa mentioned that to me. I was aware of it, but Lisa mentioned that if we could mention on here. I know Ken is, he's just a great guy, and I'm sure, I know I never met her, but I just know he just loved her to death. They have a daughter. I think she's like a teenager, maybe an older, I'm not sure how old she is, but she's a young lady, a young woman, and now without a mom, and he's without a wife. So he's completely unexpected. It sounds like it's not anything that she just got real sick and passed on in a very short period of time. And so thoughts and prayers, folks. Just want to let you know.
Yeah,
man, that's. I mean, there's no words, but wow, I don't even have the words to say other than, all we can do is lift them up in prayer, and prayers for peace at some point. Words, I think, words seem cheap, and words
Exactly.
seem
Inefficient,
inefficient, and almost
hollow.
disrespectful, hollow. So just, and I know Ken's not going to be watching this, but let's just keep that entire family up, just lifted up in prayer. That the Lord would send the Comforter and bring peace to that family. That's whatever that road looks like moving forward. I guess it's also a reminder for all of us who are blessed with having a spouse that is still with us. Maybe squeeze them a little tighter tonight. Never take those things for granted. I don't have all the answers for sure. I'd never pretend to. The Bible says that it's appointed unto man once to die, and then the judgment thereafter. We don't know when that number is pulled. We don't know when that roll is going to be caught up yonder, but just, boy, Ken, we're going to keep you and your family lifted up in prayer. Wow.
it's tough.
Anyway, yeah. So,
well, Bruce and Grammy, thanks for letting us know. I don't even really have the words to really move on and talk about anything else. So, I just want to thank Justin Strom for your super chat. Says, I love the weekly show, guys. You guys all inspire and encourage me. I really like how Greg breaks it down. Brian encouraged me to set a honey goal for next year. I don't have a nectar flow like Bruce, but I will do my best. I found the lighthouse. Justin, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. In all these things that we do, we are literally just being a lighthouse of God's love to others. That's what we're called to do. You tune in for a beekeeping chat. It's going to get real. The three of us, we are not afraid to let it rip to who we really are, what we believe in, how we feel. We're comfortable in our own skin, whether that's getting real with loss from somebody, sharing the highs, the lows, everything in between. It's not just about beekeeping. It's about being our brother's keeper. And so I really just want to thank everybody for always tuning in. This is such a beautiful community. Right now, let's put all of those thoughts and this collective effort that we have together, and let's just take some time and keep Ken and his family in prayer. These things happen. We don't understand why. I don't think we can. But what we can do is to just be a lighthouse to others. And right now, I think that means just joining together and just keeping that family in prayer. I've got a couple more giveaways, but let's for what I want you to do is, if we got a couple more things to give away here. We got a hive tool. Susie had something else here too. Go to our website, naturesimagefarm.com. Go to the About Us, shoot us an email, and just put your info in and just put giveaway. We'll do a random drawing a little bit later. I really don't want to, it doesn't feel appropriate to keep going down that road with the rest of the show tonight. My heart's just in a different place and mindset now, hearing that news, and that's okay. That's what this thing is about. Fellas, next week, whose channel are we going to be on? Brian. So look out for the Stream Team Beekeeping Chat next Wednesday, 8:00 Eastern. on the Castle Hives channel. Let's just go around the horn here to wrap things up. Bruce, what's up for you? What's on deck this week?
Number one, once again, getting hive beetle treatments on. I haven't been in the brood boxes of these bees probably since before I put honey supers on them. I think that when I stacked the queen exclusion honey supers on was the last time I checked them at all, hardly, except unless I saw some that had problems. So I'm just going to kind of do a quick scan. We're going to try and go quickly and efficiently tomorrow, just check and see the health of the colonies, and then put the mite treatments in. Frankly, I did get the old ones out, the old Roxanne, so I'm going to get those out if there's any left. They do chew them up and get them out of there pretty good, but if there's any left, I'm going to get the residue of those out, get the new ones in, and just try and rock and roll and get through that. Next item of business is to get my buckets put back in the storage, get that room cleaned out, get the buckets back in storage, and then get the honey super stored. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Not really a whole lot else going on. I'm sure every year during the summertime, I end up with a few dead outs, few slime outs, just a few that just don't make it for whatever reason. And, but this is the first step of assessing and addressing those issues. So from here right now, as of the day we pulled the honey, 2026 season started, and especially as of tomorrow, that's the first step towards getting the bees ready for 2026. And so that's my immediate plans. I may try and do some splits, or, get some queens and try to rectify any old or failing queens and things like that. But right now I just got to get mite treatments in. That's number one goal. Assess colonies quickly, very briefly assess colonies, get the mite treatments in, and just move on. So I'm going to try to do in the next few days.
Awesome. Brian, what's on deck for Castle Hives this week?
Extract and then assess the colonies. So I think as compared to what's led up to this point so far, I think probably the next week or two will probably be the busiest. Just, with pulling the honey, I'm a one-man show, so whatever I do up here, I got to do it all myself. So, but it'll be fine. I mean, I'll take it. So,
Brian, you need to extend an invitation to some people.
There's some folks that I know, like there's a guy, Greg, you met him, Mike. I actually went over, and the guy that got the 2 nukes from you, the setups, and I actually went back over. We did some inspections on his colonies the other day and added boxes. He just is, he's gotten
him over. He would have such a blast helping you, I bet.
Yeah, I was thinking on reaching out to him to see if he wanted to come over, but I know he travels a lot. So I'm thinking like more later towards the fall, when I get into some of those tasks in the fall, I'll line it up ahead of time. But, that's going to be it. I mean, I'll keep myself busy, but it's okay just because I want to get those colonies. There's 19 over there. If I can get those 19 going into the winter, I'll be content. So, but the actions, I mean, we all know what we do now is going to directly affect what goes into the winter, and that will affect what we have next spring. So it's an important time.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week we'll be on the Brian's channel, 8:00 Eastern, on the Castle Hives YouTube channel. I got a lot more to say. We'll talk about it then. And until then, folks, just keep Ken and his family in your thoughts and prayers. And there's just no words at all. I don't even have the words to say. My heart is absolutely it's crushed for him, and that's nothing compared to what that family is going through. I tell you what, maybe let's do something a little different here. Outside of what we would normally do. I don't know what your prerogative is, how you guys deal with these things, but for those that are on here tonight, if you're a believer, let's just join up tonight and let's just say a little prayer together for Ken. I'm a firm believer is that sometimes when you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say. The best thing is just to bring that before the Lord. So if you would just join us here in a little prayer. Father God, we come before you tonight. We don't have the answers. We don't know the steps forward. We don't know what the future holds, Father God, but we know that you know that future, that you have a plan for us in this life. Father God, we bring before you our brother Ken and his family as they suffer through this loss right now. We ask that you would touch them, Father God, in the way that only you can. Father God, we ask that you bring them peace. You bring them comfort in the days ahead, Father God, that they would come and learn and be closer to you through this, Father God. We know that it's appointed unto man once to die and the judgment thereafter. But Father God, when it hits us, it hits us all a little different. It hits us hard. We just pray for Ken and his family, Father God. Bring peace and comfort to that family. We'll give you the praise. We'll give you the glory. And in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Life is a lot like beekeeping. Beekeeping isn't easy, and at times can be downright tough. Sometimes you feel like you're on an island, that you're not making a difference, and that you're on your own. But just remember, the darkest hour is just before dawn. There are those out there shining a light, being the change, and being a lighthouse. You're not alone. There's an incredible community of folks who want to help, who want to lift you up, and want to see you do well. Like the honeybee is to the hive, we're better together. With hard work, if we work together, and with a little help from above, all things are possible. It's not just about keeping bees. It's about being our brother's keeper. Be the lighthouse.